right, so here's my planet, Amotus. I took some heavy inspiration from Egypt, and it has no relation to SIU. I didn't even think about it, but you know, that's just how it goes. This whole thing is, you know, about exploration. So I wanted the pod to be able to kind of to sit wherever you are, and then be able to look around as well using the mouse. It's like I'm getting some sort of lag here whenever I move the mouse a certain way. I have the mouse clamped so that it can never look beyond the back of the ship. So here we've got a cool forest flying around. Got the navigation controls right here in case anyone forgets. Pretty easy to reference. I really liked the idea of these harsh rock formations that are kind of like spires towering over. Give a sense of feeling small in this big, like harsh landscape. And here we have another heavily Egyptian-inspired formation, well, building structure. This kind of serves as what you might think of as a tomb for a fallen hero. And that's, we have this statue commemorating them right there. Get a little bit closer, you can see the door, some of the working. We're back this direction. Got more of these giant trees that definitely thrive when they're in the water. So because of that, they're huge up in this area. Let's see. Also, I didn't figure out how to adjust the yaw. I think it was either yaw or pitch. So sometimes you will get turned around if you slap into some different parts of terrain. So have a reset the pod button set so that the rotation flips back to its default, just in case you get flipped over, which can happen. So coming back over this way, I see a giant floating pyramid, and then more ruins, civilization. For this area, I wanted it to definitely be more desert-like, but I give everything a bit of a pink and purple tint to kind of to tie in with the rest of the landscape. I have a maximum altitude set because this pod, it's really meant for exploration, not for flying around. So you can't actually get up to the pyramid. And then here we have more remnants of the hero statues. And then the escape will take you back to the beginning.
Very good.
So yeah, that's a notice.
Awesome. Thank you, Dustin. So can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
So how did you make decisions about what the plants would look like? What inspired those?
So these, I Googled desert plants, and these are supposed to be giant ferns, essentially. The trees were very much the same way. I took inspiration from a combination of palm trees and the Joshua trees. So if you, there's a bit of a lag there. Let's see. Okay, so just flip them around. So if you look, if we get in close, I have like a palm leaf, you know, kind of look to it, and then the trunk itself kind of reminds me of a pineapple. So yeah, I just thought it was a cool pattern that makes it look kind of hard. The spike fruit trees were a little less inspired and more of like my own creation. I just the spike fruit is something that exists, but I wanted to put it on top of like a strong structure. So they're very stone-like in their plant anatomy, I guess you could say, and got this emissive quality, as if there's some sort of energy flowing through them.
Yeah, fantastic. Any last thoughts for Dustin?
What do you imagine is in the tomb or in the pyramid?
So inside the tomb, it would be revealed to be empty.
Oh.
and inside the pyramid are pieces of a ship that crashed here. So the tomb is definitely honoring what one might think is a fallen hero, but they're very much still alive. And the hero is named Ellis. Yeah.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, look at this. Yay! All right, go ahead and close your tab, Dustin. Who's next? Renee?
I think so.
So it looks like.
So I tell you what, maybe we should close all those tabs, just have one, and actually just navigate the website. I thought this would be helpful, but I'm worried.
It might
You
cause
think
it
it's to show off
the
your
lag.
website too.
What's that?
To show off your website.
Oh yeah. And you might just have to click reload.
Like refresh the.
Refresh the whole page, yeah.
Maybe level 6 for background television.
Yeah, exactly.
On this level.
Alrighty.
Okay, cool. Give me a second to wrap that around a little bit. I always think the controls are one thing in my head and then I start driving around. That is not fun. Okay, well this is my planet Overmus. The idea is it's a very small planet that is kind of like in a state of self-destruction. So everything is tied together, but it's also kind of tearing itself apart. The idea is you kind of like travel throughout this planet, and as you do, you encounter things that are maybe strange and kind of maybe disconcerting and things like that. But it's very easily to like get lost and lose sense of like where you are and what's happening. Yes. See if I don't get lost myself. You're going right now. Continue this way. Kind of follow the water a little bit. There's two kind of like big grandeur sites, I guess, or like vistas as we call them in this class to kind of go see. One of them being over here is we have like the kind of the largest patch of plants to see over here. And we can see all these like spores that are being released. It kind of like creates a yellow haze often in the background and things like that. But this is where like a lot of majority of the plants live. Normally not too high up, like off the surface. They stay away from like the highest peaks and hills, but also not too much into the water as well. And then lastly, my favorite part is this scene over here, which just shows a pile, well, a very large and very ominous pile of these moving grub-like creatures that look awful, probably are awful, but they're quite like foreboding. Like, why are they here? Who made this?
Oh.
Why is it like that? And just the idea that like something is clearly not right if this is what's being made.
I love it. It's disgusting.
I love it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like the ending villain from like what is it, Level 3 Wolfbound?
I don't know that.
Gaius one. Yeah.
Are we getting some lens
Yeah,
shift in there too? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. The idea is that like essentially as you would explore, as if I further time development, the longer you spend out exploring the planet, maybe the more distorted your lens might be, the longer you could go before you have to like return back to base, restock on your oxygen and food, and like come back to your sense of being. So getting too close to these kind of grubs or getting too close to like the big mushroom fields will kind of make your camera kind of go a little wild.
Okay. So we're in danger sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably should not be here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. That's great. We have another couple of minutes of your time. So questions or comments for Renee?
What does it inspire you to create those like little slugs?
Let's see. Well, it started off with messing around with shader graphs because that was my favorite thing for this. Is the idea to be able to like script things, but you could see how the texture was like coming together as you went. Was really fun. So it was kind of like messing around with it, and then all of a sudden I had this like really cool like slimy looking texture. So what would that be really good for? Oh, that'd be really cool for like some sort of like squishy thing. And then what could be a really easy squishy thing would be easy to implement, and then I could like easily add movement to, while like still looking like semi-realistic, and that's kind of where it came from. And then kind of falling onto the idea of like, because the mushrooms were the thing that came first. This idea is like it's like they're eating away, they're decaying things. Well, what's something else that is like eating away at things, kind of aiding in the process of like decomposing something would be like grubs. Yeah.
That's a really great example of like the playing around in the process leads you to make, to make a product and to make meaning, just by sort of investigating the tools, and it leads you to some interesting creative decisions. So I really like that.
I really like how the color palette seems to just be red, like monochromatic, but like almost like a sunset kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's like
It's kind of poetic.
Yeah.
Because it like sunsets like the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Decaying.
Yeah.
The cycle.
Yeah. Really beautiful color palette.
Makes me think of what if this planet was something else, like when we have more. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to think about what does this planet look like in its morning, right?
Yeah.
Like its early stages of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Or I can just keep kind of going along the line. Or
That was it. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Joe. Yeah. So refresh that.
Yeah.
We should be okay. Thanks to the monitor, we've got a nice.
Awesome. Yeah, that is stretch. I think we should be playing. Alright, so this is my desert planet. It's called Ibel. So this planet is super hot and kind of harsh, but you're still able to kind of explore it without difficulty. But it's a really bright planet, so everything is very reflective. I made the sand almost like glossy, like it's almost glassy. But yeah, so the movement, you can look around, you can go forward and back, and then you can jump. The jumping's been a little iffy, but I think I finally got it down to where it's like low enough but not too high. But as you can see in the corner here, there's this radar going off. And this is one of your HUD elements that tells you what you're nearby. So we see it going off, and we see nearby there's this device. So there are 10 of these batteries around the planet that you can explore and find, and then it adds to your, I guess your little counter up here. So when I go into it, you'll see that, oh, I collected one of these batteries, and it's added to my menu up top here. So I'm going to jump out of this pit. I'm in the quarry right now, so we see some minerals. So I'm going to hop out here. And I think the physics and the jumping could still be worked on, but it's getting there. I'll probably go fall like 10 times. Okay, so now we're out here on the surface, and we see some stuff around, some things maybe floating, some things just nearby like this mining machine. So as you get near objects, this radar will go off depending on how close you are to something. So for example, I'll go around here behind this mining device, and we'll see that at first nothing's going off, but as we get closer, something probably will happen. I think I'm stuck. Yeah, so we see the radar starts to go off, so we're nearby something, and as we get closer, it should go faster and faster, so it has 3 different states. So it's going, I think, to the medium state right now, and as we get closer, it goes off, so we know we're very close. So I can pick this up. So that's the general idea, just there's a reason to explore. I wanted to give someone a way to beat the game or know that they've explored everything. So that bar is too high. But I'm going to show you maybe 1 or 2 more things, but I probably won't have time to show all 10 things. So I'm going to go over here. So we see these kind of large walls of sand. So I'm going to go explore nearby. So we see this is the meteor impact. And as we get closer, the screen will change, showing how hot the temperature is. So nearby this core, it is extremely hot. And for the final build, I'd like to add alarms as you get closer. Your system kind of telling you, oh, this is dangerous. But we're going to pick up this battery here. And I would at least like to go show what happens when you collect all 10. So I'm gonna go head over this way where the game ends.
You're gonna speed run it?
I think so, yeah. Well, earlier on, when there were more bugs, you could definitely speed run because you just fly all over.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a mess. But we're gonna head towards this core over here and all these towers. So we're at Mud Lake right now. Maybe I'll pick one more up along the way. So inside of this lake, we'll see our radar starts to go off, and I got stuck again. But we can actually see there are platforms over here inside of this lake. So I'm gonna try to traverse this without falling in. But if I do fall in, I have a way to restart and spawns me back at the start of the game. So I'm gonna jump over here, jump on this platform and pick up this battery. Alright, so we're on our way. So once you have these batteries, you can actually place them in these towers. So you'll see the menu pop up when I get closer. If I can get up here, okay. So we're at the battery towers now. So you'll see a little receptacle where you can plug these batteries in. As you touch it, you're able to place it, and then it shows up top that you have placed this battery. So once you do that with all 10, you can go around. I'll show you the biggest tower here, which is a different asset. So let me just hop up here. I might add ramps or stairs to make it quicker so that you don't fall off either, but I have not decided yet. So this large tower actually takes 3 of them. So hopefully if it works, I can place all 3, because this was very hard to implement. Okay, so the menu still got a little messed up. That battery that I still have, I think should be over to the right side, but I'm working on that. But I have a cheat code, so I'm gonna press this button to give myself all 10 batteries. I had to implement that because it was very buggy, but yeah. So as you can see, I'm collecting them all without doing any work. And once I have them all, this core will descend to the planet. And if I drive over here, yeah, you can still jump in midair. I kind of like it, so I might keep it. But as I go over here, you'll see that you are now able to jump inside of it. But I don't think I'm going to show that now.
Okay.
I think it's still working out. There is something there if you want to go try it.
This is a teaser. I got
Yeah, I think so. This is like a little trailer. But yeah, there's my planet. It's a little buggy around the outside of my ship. I've been working on that. I think it's because objects are intersecting and there's a lot of geometry. Yeah, it just doesn't know what to do. But that's the general premise of my planet.
Wow, very nice.
Jeez.
Joe, what the hell?
So I guess
Yeah.
you already got a job, right?
No.
Yeah, you are. Come on.
Good.
So you made a platformer. Like a
Kind of, sort of,
kind
yeah.
of a puzzle
Yeah, jumping.
platformer.
Yep.
Wow.
To explore. And I'll show you when I jump in the mud here. It should just teleport me back.
Wow.
So now I'm in the quarry. So I'm like, maybe I just go through hyperspace and teleport back to the beginning.
Very good.
So, yeah. So,
Thanks, Joe.
That's about it. No problem.
Great job. Very good. All right. So back if your controls are not working, feel free to take us through the
Joe,
gallery.
you're nuts.
No.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so mine should be pretty short and sweet because it doesn't work. There is a lot going on, and so it doesn't work. But basically, what it was is my planet is called Bavaria, and so you're playing as like an earthworm exploring a vivarium made by like researchers who collected samples from a different planet, and they kind of like, for fun, made their own little living tank and like, put an earthworm in to see like how like earth creatures would react to this kind of environment, which they survived. Like everything is like very similar to stuff on Earth. I had a lot of difficulties, like my pod, I guess, because decided that it gets stuck on the terrain, so it doesn't really move, and it's a little buggy, and my scene got a lot brighter than what it's supposed to be, and I didn't know how to fix that, so it glows a lot in the like actual scene. But yeah, like I said, if you hold it for long enough, it starts rotating. But that's as far as you're gonna get. So yeah, that's all I really have. I mean, I was really happy with how the trees came out. I think they're probably my favorite part. Um, I just wish they worked well.
Can you tell us how you made those trees? Because I think you used a little different process than they covered in class.
Yeah, so I used Blender for all of my stuff, and it was just like a particle system. You just make like one bush of it, I guess, and then you can just copy and paste it. And so I also did that for the bushes. And so like because it was like this like particle system, some of it does get a little wonky when you add color into it. Um, but I think it still looks okay.
And the UVs of the flowers, talk about those too.
Yeah, I mean, I painted them, drew them, and then I just custom the different colors. So like the original one was the purple one, it's just like a violet, and then that was originally all I had. It was just like purple ones scattered throughout, and I was like, I got some time. It's just really easy to mess with the hue, so I just changed them up. Like the leaves are all the same, of course. And then like I also painted the leaves for the vines. They're kind of based off of like the golden phobos, I think. And I also have like a snake plant, which that one like it was actually like it has kind of a border around it. This darker green wasn't really supposed to be there, but for some reason I couldn't get it to like fill out. But I mean it still looks pretty accurate. So I just left it as it was. But it still looks kind of nice. Yeah, so a lot of it is like I painted the textures myself, including like the terrain, the grass. That was actually something that I did, and then I just put like a normal moss map over it to give it texture. So
Well, the movement aside, because I think we can fix that, right, pretty quickly. The world really does have a very like a handcrafted and hand painted aesthetic, which I really like. It does feel quaint in a way, and I don't mean that to like belittle. It just feels like it feels like
playful.
handmade, yeah, and playful. Yeah.
Gives me like a Harvest Moon or like Zelda kind of vibe.
you can't see it, but like I did have stuff right here, water. Because this is actually like there's a lot of different types of vivariums. This one specifically a paludarium, which is like a combination of land and water. And so it was gonna be that because like I didn't really have specific like locations to go to. Like I didn't really have anything in mind. So it was gonna be more of like the things that pop up when you get to different areas would be like worm facts. And so like because I don't really have much time for the water and like I cut it off with the tank. So like you can't kind of see a little bit over there. You can't really explore it. So when you get close to the water, it would just be like worms can't swim. Fun fact. So yeah, you kind of see it right there. So, which yeah, like the tank was another thing I had issues with, but like didn't show up. And so I ended up doing just like two transparent materials stacked, and that was what made it kind of visible. I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, that's all I've got.
Very good. Thank you, Beck. I think it's funny that you're a worm, learning learning facts about your own limitations as you're crawling around and such. Yeah.
So, my world, it's gonna fold into my thesis work, which is telling a story of a sci-fi timeline, speculative fiction, and so this is it really fit in the assignment chunk into this world. So you start off as the AI pod, and to generate this text, I gave a prompt to GPT-3, an AI program, to say what is a AI's boot sequence, and I ran that through a few times and pulled the prose. So it's an AI telling me what an AI's boot sequence would look like. So you start with that, and my world's very dark, very rocky, very barren. Um, it's the aftermath of, at least in my mind, some horrible disaster in which it's completely ruined. All the liquid is green and toxic, and it's emerging up from inside the ground, from under the ground, in all these big craggy peaks. Um, I threw in, because I am very new to modeling and design, so crystals and really basic geometry was easy for me. I kind of fell into this idea of collecting crystals. My partner is also a geologist, so there's a bit of an educational angle to this, where all the minerals, and there will certainly be more, are real. So as you're going through these exoplanets, you're able to encounter, collect, and categorize these minerals, and that is your mission as, oh god, as an AI pod. Talking and playing a game is hard. So yeah, as you go through, my hope is that there will be several levels, and this level is the prototype for all the features I want. I think I almost got there. And as you arrive on planets with various minerals, you're scored and evaluated. And the feature I'd like to include later is a timer, what's called a budget in a story, or in games, right, just your health for a timer, which will be your energy as you fly around and take movement. Your health, your energy is constantly depleting. So you have the option of breaking down the minerals you retrieve to create more fuel for yourself, survive longer, or report back with what you have to your creators back on Earth to be evaluated and potentially rescued one day or left there forever. So unlike a lot of my work, which is second person, where the player is the character in the story, I actually made a video game that's third person. I find that highly ironic. So you're playing the pod, and your two goals are to collect the minerals, right? Do good for the job you were built for, but also to survive. And so you're in contrast with that. And as I've flown here, I've got well, I was throwing together a pretty large area. I feel like I broke it into quadrants. So you start in the crater of that first quadrant. This second quadrant here that I just grabbed a piece of twin quartz from. Third quadrant, again, not great at modeling, so I ended up using more materials than I did anything else. And I fell in love with making these crystalline materials. So a massive broken rib cage of some creature that's been fully fossilized and supplanted with crystal rather than stone or other rock. And if a player would like a challenge, they can always dart in and out of the rib cage and try and get all those crystals. If the budget, the health system was up, which it will be in the future, you would have more risk involved in that. There would be more motivation. And if anyone has any questions, I'm just going to float on over to this last quadrant.
I love all the particle effects. Whenever you pick up something, it's cool to get that stimulus.
Thank you.
I like seeing everything flying through.
Yeah, I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot as a child, and I think part through designing the crystal, when I made it purple and it looked right to me, I was like, oh dang, okay, cool. And then of course it had to have particles, or it just wouldn't feel right when you collect it. That little bit of feedback, which it was fun collaborating with a scientist, right, on this game, because I was constantly being berated that this is unrealistic, or this doesn't make sense, this can't be. And I'm like, it has to be a little fantastic. It has to be, that splitting the difference between fun and fiction and realism. But she was showing me this piece of cubic pyrite that they have over in the geology lab, and I just made it exactly as it was, just large. And I threw together, the big crystal, and I got the chance to reverse engineer and say, what is this? And, well, looks like quartz to me. Yeah, so that's it.
Awesome, thank you, Matthew.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. This the main choice the player has is this duty to the company or to just simply exist, right?
Yeah.
And that's the most powerful choice, right?
It's the two directives of the AI, and
Right.
you're just running on logic.
Yeah. Really wonderful. All right, Tyler.
Okay, so this is my planet, Sol Ran. Right off the bat here, there are some inhabitants that are not exactly finished. The script that I wrote for them broke, and I never animated them, so they're kind of just freaking out a little bit. But this is the village area in the forest. This is where they live. I don't have any details in here, but if you really want to, you can fly through here. If I get good at games, maybe. Yeah, you can fly into here, and there is a lamp that does emit light in each room. So we can come over this direction. So Sol Ran itself is a very cold planet. It's actually outside of its solar system's Goldilocks zone. So in most areas of the planet, all water is in ice form. Except in this area, there is a volcano nearby, and there is severe elevated geologic activity, because what's special about Sol Ran is it has a sister planet, Sol Run, in a binary orbit with it. And this tugs at the cores of both planets, causing more geological activity, leading to more volcanoes, warming the surface, and allowing for liquid water that exists in certain areas. So there's a lake area here, which is runoff from these nearby mountains. Notice I'm moving diagonally. That's because programming movement is hard. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is always larger. And it's hard to figure out if you're moving two directions at once and truncate that speed. So here is a rocky area. There's some ruins over here where there used to be some civilization. There is not anymore. They have moved to the forest because this over here is a volcano on the end of this mountain range. And if I come up closer to it, it gets pretty hot. And I have some not distortion, the film grain over here too. So if I start to fly out of the game area, instead of having this like a world edge, I programmed in some warning system. So now we're leaving the volcano area. So you can still see, if I come out to closer to the floor, there we go. So now we're reaching the edge. It starts to fade to white. This would hopefully deter the player from leaving the edge, but if they are undeterred and continue moving, they will eventually be teleported to another part of the world. This is inside of another mountain, a small cave with a lot of crystal formations in here. So another part of the formation of the planets is they are very high in silica, which means there are a lot of crystal formations too. And this cave can be accessed at any other time too, but if you leave the world, you would teleport to it. And that's all my points of interest. So
very good.
We can come back to the forest over this direction, and this is where the village is. You fly down to the tree level, you can see the buildings over there.
Yeah, fly around some more while we ask you questions.
Yeah. Oh, and if you really want to, the trees have collisions, so you can come down to the floor and fly through them and try and dodge. If you really wanted something to challenge with.
I really like this part of the game for some reason. I don't know. It's an interesting area, and I don't feel like I've seen it as much as other parts of the game to date. So it feels new for me. You know? Questions for Tyler? Thought?
It's not a question, but I love those lamps. They look amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, look at light.
It's meant to be there, partying.
Oh, and one more thing that I didn't actually have on Drive, but I put on my site here. I have a little animation that I did a long time ago in Blender of the two planets orbiting each other. So the smaller one here is Sol Rand. That's the one that the planet is on. Sol Run is a larger one and does not have any intelligent life on it. But they were since they were made in the same solar system, they have very similar compositions, similar life otherwise.
And so you're saying that the cores, because they're drawn to one another.
Because it's not more than just a moon, it's a whole other planet that's there tugging with gravity. The liquid cores are more active, and that causes more geological activity in the mantle.
Do the planets themselves turn, or are they always facing one another?
They are tightly locked to each other.
Okay.
And one sol or binary rotation of them, I believe, here is 60 hours. And that would be 1 day on either planet.
Great, Tyler. Thank you. While you're on your way back to your seat, tell us more about the beings that live there.
So they are called Ornish. They're an avian scavenger species that has evolved to be bipedal, and they also have. So they're feathered, so they can fly. They're not flying right now, obviously. But some of their feathers, you'll notice, are green. That is because they have evolved photosynthetic feathers. They can sit out in the sunlight and gain energy rather than constantly eating. This was an evolutionary trait for long terms of migration. They don't have to stop for food as much. They can just gain energy while flying.
That's wonderful.
Thanks for running harder.
Very good, thank you.
It took me
Love and breakdancing.
All right, Corinne.
Okay. So this is my planet. It's actually called Crystallianos, and it is. So I kind of had a solo in the middle of the semester, and I decided, what's the basic shape I can do to like base it all around. So I decided on a haunt, and I always loved like the bicolors, like blue, purple, pink. So I focused like my whole time around that. My idea is that it's more on the warmer side, and the entire planet is mostly like crystals. My movement is a little awkward. I can kind of go backwards if I like hit the back button just right, but using like shifts, like left shift brings me down, right shift brings me up. I made like these like, big crystals in Maya, and I used like this shiny reflective black metallic shadow that I found in Unity, and I really like how it looks. And then the spiky ones, those ones I UV modeled. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but like at the bottom of them, at the base of them, they have like this like wow. Yeah. It took me like maybe an hour to do it because I had to like figure out like how to get it right. And then like it's just very wonky. I did finally figure out like it took me a while to figure out like the movements and how to like get it to work. I still would like to try to figure out how to like actually like look around. But I'm pretty happy with how it came out, especially with like some of the technical difficulties that happened.
I really like the really highly reflective material. In that it's almost a mirror finish, I think is really interesting. And because it reflects all of the skybox. Yeah, it's like these optical illusions around the landscape.
Yeah, and some of the last things I did was play around with like the lighting, in game, so that like really, I think, solidified it because originally, like, all the ground was like very like kind of grayish with like some purple to it.
Yep.
But with the lighting, I was really able to like boost everything and make it look how I wanted.
And you said okay, so that's especially spiky one on the left.
Mhm.
You said you painted UV for that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that's the one with the.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it. When the reflection on it makes it
Mhm.
tough for me to see, but I see it there now. Very
Yeah.
very painterly.
It's like I like radiated the bipoles onto like the triangle. That's what I did.
Yeah, very good. Karina, I didn't set your timer. I apologize.
Oh.
And I have to change
Okay.
your title of your planet up there. That's
Yeah.
old text that I left in. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. Any last thoughts for Karina?
Beautiful.
I really like the crystals when you like see the stars moving in them.
Mm.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Howdy.
All right.
One crystal planet to another, baby.
Alright,
So
go ahead.
this might be much more I'm going to talk about. So this is Opsianos, or the Obsidian Planet. So I guess we can get to a little bit of lore here while you just stare at the screen. So pretty much like the lore of it is at one point it was discovered that there was massive volcanoes that ravaged the land. They once erupted, completely destroying pretty much everything, and thus cooling over, probably millennia, thus creating the whole planet into obsidian, which is like cooled lava. So for some reason unknown, you cannot go onto the land at all. This is like the one area of lake, which I can show you the map, on the entire planet, and scientists don't know why. You're trying to discover. You're just kind of going around and seeing what's around this lake area. There's some sort of energy source that's being detected. You don't know what it is. So your job is kind of to just explore. And yeah, so okay, get her going here. There we go. I had to dumb down a lot of stuff to get it online, which is really unfortunate. I'll show you some screenshots here, but a lot of the textures I had to, cut down. I had to get rid of a lot of plants that were around. So there were supposed to be like little ferns like lining up the sides, like right here and stuff, like all around the planet. I had to take some stuff away just to kind of get like the basics of what I wanted. It does start to get a little laggy as we get into the mushrooms, but that's kind of like just the nature of it, I guess. Because there's just so much going on. Everything's so shiny and everything's very bioluminescent, which is kind of like the image I wanted. So you're in this kind of mushroom glowy area to begin with. There's these really odd kind of like architectural shapes that emit light. You don't know what they are. You kind of get close to nothing really happens. You can just see that they emit some sort of light, and you don't know kind of what's powering them. So as we leave this area, like I said, it is rather laggy. Which is okay. At least she runs. And then, so yeah, you just kind of explore the rest of the area. So there's 3 main areas to explore. The first is the glowing mushroom forest, and then you kind of enter this area, the fungi peak. So there's also just like, it's like almost like mini environments around this one giant mass in the middle, which is the tree with the giant crystals that we are kind of like orbiting around here. So I kind of just wanted to make something that you would just explore. That's pretty, that's nice to look at. There's no real point to it. You're kind of just like, it's almost like, it's very foreign. Like, okay, why is everything glowing? Why is this the only water area on this entire planet? And again, there's more of this architecture. This time it's within the actual terrain itself. And then the only thing that can actually live on the obsidian itself are these odd-looking like rock trees. So the base of them are actually like almost crystal rock-like as well, with like this similar fungi surrounding it. So you don't know why that is as well. And again, there's 3 of them. And if you actually look on top of like a map view, they're also in like a interesting triangular shape. So do with that as you must in your head. But yeah, everything kind of glows. It kind of, it's just nice to look at. But the only area you can go on is the water, so
Mm.
that's what it's for.
Your UVs are really great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, I took a lot of time doing those,
Yeah.
and that's like that's kind of like what I had to knock down quality wise, which kind of sucks because I spent so long on them.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like tearing apart part of your project you worked on so hard for, but it's okay. I mean, they're still here. It's functional, so that's what I that's what I strive for. And then there's this last area known as Crystal Cove, and it's literally just an area with massive crystals, as you can see, kind of just jutting up through the environment. And all the crystals are like very similar in density, similar in color. I had to change the material on them too, so they don't look as crystal-like as they did. But I'll show you some pictures. And then there's this lonely little mushroom tree that he's chilling in the water, so over here. But then there's this giant crystal jutting out. So that's kind of it. You turn around and see like there's this mass island in the middle that you can't get to. Giant crystals. This one form of this tree that's just massive than all the others. It's known that this is likely something to do with the power source of the planet, something to do with the alien-esque architectural lights as well. And then you can go back to the beginning as well. But here's some screenshots just because I did have to kind of diminish the quality a bit, but that's okay. So you start over here, the bottom left, a mushroom. It's almost like there's like 3 separate little mini areas.
Oh yeah. See, look at the details.
Yeah, and like I said, like these are screenshots before I put it online, so a lot of it had to be cut down, but that's all right.
Well, keep in mind this goes for everybody. Like you cut it down so that it would fit as a WebGL build.
Yeah.
If you want to build it out for your machine that you play games on already, change your settings back and build it for PC or Mac.
And I kept a separate thing before I started to, I go with everything. But yeah. And there were like little rock-looking almost plants on there.
Wow.
Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bailey.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 12:11, which means if you have to leave right at 12:15, you need to another class. You should do it now so you don't leave in the middle of the next presentation. Yeah, cool. And then, yeah.
Alright, I gotta go.
You have to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the provers.
Think about coming next week if you want to.
This one's for Rachel.
All right,
Rachel, you
Rachel.
master plan.
The aesthetic.
Yeah, totally planned that.
Totally planned.
Really into it. We'll start with the screenshots down here. So this is the map. Kind of get an overview of it. Oh, that's concept art. I didn't know that would be on this. We're not gonna look at those anymore.
If you want that changed, just remind me later.
That's okay. So yeah, right and left you look around. I really like how the trees sway. I think that's really neat. Space bar, you go forward, and then X, you jump. And due to the gravity, it's when you jump, it takes a while to come back down. So you have to take that into account. You can jump as much as you want, but you have to make sure that you plan accordingly. The goal for this planet is to find each little pocket of fireflies, because the team back on Earth found this planet via its sparkles, and they want to know why it does that. And we have discovered by being on this planet that all of these little sparkles are fireflies. So all of the shininess in the water, those are a different species of fireflies. Those are in the water. So let's look around. There is some in the bushes if you really want to go in there and look. But we'll go around this way. The nature of it is a bunch of 4-leaf clovers and flowers, which I really like those. I think those are really neat. And then you can, each of these leaves up here on the mountains have colliders to them, so you can perch yourself on top of there. But I will just go to the easiest to get to fireflies up here for me, so you can kind of see them.
Oh my god, this is
What?
So there's one pocket of them. They're just kind of vibing. They're not really doing much.
I love them.
I think if I were to really focus, you can kind of see there's some down in there too if you really want to go find them. If I were to edit this game much more, I want to figure out how to look around easier, because I tried to focus on that a little bit and then I had to kind of prioritize what I needed to do. So movement works, but I wish you could look around a little bit better.
Well, I mean, I think it's really great, and I remember that I don't remember if it was for a reflection or for one of the other projects you wrote about the glittering quality, and you asked the question, what are those glittering things in the water? And I wondered, and that was like weeks and weeks ago, but now I know. Right? Like it all came back as part of the narrative. So it was really important.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder how to make that a self-discovery, but I think I'm just gonna leave it alone.
As in, you would discover it in the game and it tells you, or?
Right.
I see.
That's so cute, little fireflies though.
Yes. Totally.
So cute.
We could make those
Oh, so
spins
actually
like they're flying in a circle.
Yeah, that was another thing we had to put on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely.
Really wonderful. Thoughts or questions for Rachel?
Beautiful.
I really like those swing plants.
I know.
Yes.
Love it.
So, Dustin, you've got your camera. How does yours work with the mouse?
So it checks the X and Y rotation of the camera. It's a camera screw with the mouse movement.
And it's clamped to a minimum maximum.
Yeah, I think it's 90 and negative 90 on horizontal, and then a certain amount on the other one. But and then I've got right click set to reset it back to its.
Okay. So that's something we could probably implement quickly if people were so interested in that going into next week.
Yeah, I looked up how to do it, and it's really simple. It's just.
It's just one more thing. Right? Yeah. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Rachel.
Wait, how do you say your planet's name? How do you pronounce it?
Lechar. I actually asked my partner for an inspirational name. I was having issues, and he sent me that, and I was like, all right, good enough. So I put it in there.
I love that.
And then weeks later, he's like, do you realize what it is? I'm like, no, what do you mean? He goes, it's your name backwards. So
Aww.
that's
I didn't realize that.
what it means.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Thanks for bringing it to you.
Is it me?
Alrighty, Claire.
Alright.
Let's go, Claire.
Probably like.
You're matching your planet too.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. Let's go.
America? That's not America.
America looks a lot
so-
different.
So I had a different envision totally. I like switched ideas very quickly. But it's supposed to be kind of like a dragon planet, but it turned into a Barbie princess dragon planet. So there's a lot of crystal stuff. I did not put colliders on the crystals, so you go right through it. But yeah, it's still like, it's princess vibes. I don't. Very purple, pinkish. I know I really like bright colors, so. A lot of rocks, crystals, and there's a very low poly dragon head in the purple water. But it's supposed to be like a magical planet. A lot of these formations have magic, like within them. The movement's kind of odd. Oh shoot, sorry.
Yeah, fly us around the planet some.
And I've been trying to get to the trees and I can't. So I really like the material on these, but it's almost like you're in it's very bouncy. Like I want to go back and like try to fix that, but I do have the trees I've been trying to get to the trees and I just can't.
Where are they?
They're like way over here.
Okay.
I see them, and so it's like I bounce around and then but there's a huge one right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I feel like we're in like a pinball machine or something. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I know.
See, I can't get up. So I want to go back and try to fix it.
You need like a little boost or jump button.
I know. It's like it's like no, you're not allowed to go see the pretty stuff. You can just and then of course you can't escape.
You can also modify the terrain to make it a little bit easier to.
Yes, it's so like I didn't realize how like jagged it would end up.
You guys modify where you start too, maybe.
Yeah, I think that too. I think that's the issue. But I don't know. I really like the crystals.
Yeah, they look really
like
good.
it's just Barbie vibes, like magic fantasy stuff, and the dragons. I don't know. Probably look. I don't know if I want like the ice dragons. So, but yeah, I need to fix that. Yeah, if you get caught, but.
I kind of like it. Like it's like they're in a cotton candy machine.
I know. I really love. See.
Yeah.
The trees, and
Oh,
then I
yeah.
put
The
like
trees look so cool.
Thank you. I put like a weird dragon wing, like there's wings growing out of the land because the lore is like there used to be dragons that roam the land, and then either the planet absorbed them, or they just died off, or the planet's actually a dragon. Kind of like the ego, sort of type vibe. But see, my trees.
I think you can make it. You gotta hit the ramp just
You got it.
No. Okay, hold on. I do want to put more control.
While you're trying to get to the trees, I would also suggest, maybe put some more trees elsewhere that are easier to reach, or populate the world a little bit more densely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love those rocks were fun. Like I don't know, I really like the texture on them. And then, okay. I liked my skybox, like purple, pinkish. Yeah, I definitely want to fix the code movement because it's just like we're bouncing around. I really like that little crystal right here.
I like the speed that we're moving.
I do
think that's
too.
fun.
I think it feels like.
I think even bouncy is really cool.
Because it's like I want like that fantasy magical vibe. Like.
Sure. I think we just need a little bit more agency by way of now we can jump or jet.
Yes, because I really want to get to my trees. See, there's a wing right.
Like especially with the color palette, it feels like you're like snowboarding or something. You're
That's
like,
what I wanted.
Kind of going through like the
I wanted like the pod to be like a snowmobile, like because that's how it like the snow would be. You don't just kind of like go. You
can just.
It's kind of like riding a wave. Like you don't just. It's not smooth. You just kind of like bounce around here.
Very interesting. Well, I think there's a lot of different. There's so much potential, right? Like we've got fun movement. We've got to really start of like a really interesting and unique visual vocabulary with those trees and the dragon legs and things like that. So I think you just sort of expand on what you've got, and it's going to be really magical. And I don't know. Like you called it Barbie.
I don't get that either. I don't get that vibe either.
I don't go there.
No, okay.
I get like a really like I don't know like a pretty cold world, like
And I hope that dragon thing makes sense still. I don't know though, but.
I think it will when we can see more evidence of the dragon. Okay. Like we can get close to the wing, or we can get close to what looks like a crystallized head.
Yes, that's what I want. And I want definitely to be able to look around, but okay, I want to get over here. Come on.
The shapes of those crystals, since they're so oval-like, they could even be like eggs.
Oh my gosh, Dusty.
Oh my gosh,
great.
I
want to get here.
We're almost there.
Come on.
Oops.
Come on, you got it.
No!
I'm so invested. Come on.
Let's go.
We're so close.
No!
Yes.
No, it's literally like
Maybe this is the game. Like this is just like the challenge is to get over there.
Get to the trees.
The challenge.
It'd be called getting over there. Oh no!
No!
Oh.
Well,
your time's up, and I broke the. We're back.
No, we're good. Okay.
That's the entire point of the planet, just to get over there to see it.
The trees all have magic.
Very good. Thank you, Claire. Mine's not done.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh.
There's nothing there.
Yes,
I'm sorry. It'll be
yes,
done next week.
Hey, no. Okay, fine.
I'm sorry. I'm just not
You
done.
can show it next week.
Yeah, I'll show it next week.
Yeah.
There's nothing there yet.
We see it.
Is that everybody? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So today we were able to sort of get a first look at them, and I've written down some feedback. I'll write to you all with some thoughts and things that you can still work on. If you need help between now and next Thursday, let me know. If you're able to come back, we'll do it again. We'll play more in depth. We'll have more time together. We can play as much or as little as you want. You can ask each other further questions, show off new cool things that you did. I think that'll be great. Again, that's optional, but I hope to see many of you here. I'll be here. And we'll play more games, and maybe we'll put these videos on our website too. So, yes.
So are we turning in like a